Hi there, my name's Ski Oakenfull and I'm a tutor, course developer and producer at Point Blank. Welcome along to ADE. Today we're going to be looking at a track by Subtract called Wildfire, and it features the amazing vocals of Yukimi from Little Dragon. And what we're going to be doing is basically breaking down the track, looking at all the different elements contained in the track, seeing what's going on, trying to kind of recreate them, and introducing some musical theory. And at Point Blank, I recently developed a course called Electronic Music Composition, and this course is designed to introduce some basic music theory to people who maybe have not come to making music from a traditional musical background. They may not have kind of learnt piano at school or whatever. And the way we do that is to kind of analyse tracks, break down them, demystify them, and look at the musical elements to illustrate things like scales and chords, but to kind of do it in a way that's a bit funky and not kind of laborious. So this is what we're going to be doing today. And first of all, I'm just going to tell you kind of how I've gone about this process. What I did is I took the audio file from this track and I dragged it into the arrange page of Ableton. And I've actually kind of gone through and I've split up the sections into different sections. We've got our intro, verse, lead, BVs, etc. So I'm just going to give you a play of that now. So obviously you can see I've marked this as the intro. Just a beat. I could bet all of the riches that I ever had. So the only other musical element at this point, obviously the vocals coming in, but the bass is introduced. Just keep playing. If I had to sit alone, 'cause it feels that run up my back. So that carries on. I marked that as verse 1, and then we come up to this break section. I'll just play you that now. So it's quite simple, it's just one kind of bass line groove with the beat, and really the variation is coming with the vocal. So she brings in the Wildfire lyric here. Then later on, just after this, we have this sort of section I marked BVs. Your innocence, who's brave, drowning in what you say to me is crime. I suppose this could be a chorus. And then we're back in with the second verse. And the vocal comes out and this kind of lead line comes back in. So there are really just, only like 3 or 4 elements in this track, but it's very kind of effective. It's got a real kind of dubstep feel to it with the beat and the bass sound as well. So that was the first thing I did, was just try to establish the arrangement of the track. Next thing I did was I then took these sections and put them into this session view here, and you can do that by just clicking on each section here and pressing the tab key, and then you can just drop it into a clip in session view here. And what then that allows me to do is to then work within the session view, but you can see I've done it here. I've put all these clips into this channel here, and I've also looped them, so it makes it easier for actually recreating and playing these things. So let's just play it to you now. I could bet all of the riches that I ever. Hey, yeah. So let's have a look at the elements. First of all, let's have a look at the beat. And from my experience, I could hear that the majority of the sounds of this were from an TR-808, Roland TR-808, classic drum machine. And I basically, well, Ableton's fantastic. It comes with, Ableton 8 Suite comes with the library. It's got 808 classic kit. Let me just show you that now. Just bring up the drum rack here. And if you go into the kit section, we can see here 808 classic. So I can just pretty much use that. And if we open that up now, what I've done is just taken the main elements, the kick drum, the snare, and I listened to the snare, and the snare sounded to me like it wasn't just a snare, it had a clap sound on it and a low tom as well. So within the drum rack, I've actually assigned one pad to play 3 different sounds. We've got the clap sound, the snare sound, and then somewhere down here, the tom sound. So all those sounds are all being played from the one pad. There's also this kind of hi-hat, and then this rim shot as well. So let's just have another listen to that beat and then see if we can actually program that in using the APC 40 and the MPK 49. So I'm just going to play that again. Put on the metronome. So I'm going to launch a clip up here, and that's going to record it into the clip. And the great thing with Ableton is when you're launching clips into record, if you just hit the clip just before the end of the bar or end of the second bar, then it will then loop round. So you can hear that that's in there now, and we can have a look at that. These pads are quite velocity sensitive, so some of these sounds are actually a little bit quiet, so I'm just going to adjust that here. So just as a reference, let's listen to the original again. I'm now listening out for the hi-hat sound. So let's put that in now. And on this APC 40, there's an overdub button, which is great. So you can actually play it, audition it first, and then when you're ready to record it in, you can hit the MIDI overdub button. So I'm just going to do that now. Sorry, the original was playing as well, but we can play that now. Just put that in. And there's one sound left, which is this rim shot. So I'm going to put that in now. So there we go, we've got our first clip, and we've recreated the beat, which is sounding pretty cool. So it's also worth mentioning that I had the record quantization on here set to 16th note, and that just means that as I'm recording it in, everything is going to be put in time, going to be quantized. I could look at that afterwards. I could look at maybe sort of adding some groove elements to that, but at the moment that's kind of working pretty well. So the next thing to look at is the bass sound, and as I mentioned before, it's quite a kind of dubstep bass sound, and I've actually used 2 of Ableton's devices for this. The first of all is the operator, and let's have a listen to the original again, just to sort of remind ourselves what it sounds like.
I could bet all of the riches that I ever
So there's a real kind of dirtiness to that sound, but the real feature of that is that sort of wobbly effect. And I'm just going to show you how that's created. So let's just go back into this. This is the sound I've got here. So what I've done is I'm using all the operators A, B, C, and D. And on the first one, I've got this square D wave. And then on the second one, I've got a sine wave. And the third one, another square D wave. And then the fourth one, another sine wave. You've got that real kind of like FM sound. But on its own, it's kind of not particularly interesting. The interest comes when you work with the filtering. And to get that kind of wobble sound, you have to assign the LFO to control the cutoff frequency. So I'm just going to turn that LFO on now. If you just click on this LFO panel, you can see these the destination here. And I don't want to send the LFO to any of the actual operators. I just want to send it to the filter, which is what I've got here. And if I turn that on and the filter's on as well, I can also have to assign it to sync with the tempo. And I've got it to syncing at 1/16. We can change that and you can hear what it sounds like. But that's how we achieve that sound. So I'm just going to play along and you can hear what it sounds like. And what's interesting is that when they were writing this, they obviously used that as a real part of the composition. You know, it's kind of providing a rhythm. And so in a way that kind of LFO is influencing what they're playing on the keyboard. So let's play along with that. Let's take away the original. So another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to bring up this virtual keyboard here. I use this a lot to demonstrate just basically the notes that are being played. And it's definitely worth talking about the key signature of this track, because this is the music theory side, and we're actually in C minor here. We have to listen to what is the most kind of common note, the tonic, and this is something that we talk about a lot in the course in the first couple of weeks, is trying to find the key signature, and then from that we can work out if it's going to be in a major or a minor scale, and that will then determine the notes of the scale that we can play. So this track is in C minor, and I'll play you the notes now. Unfortunately you can't see that top C up there, but and this bass line is completely built up around the notes of C minor. So let's just try playing along and then recording that in as well. So I'm just going to take the MIDI overdub button off. Just stop that a sec. Unfortunately, I can't get over here quick enough to stop the clip. So I've recorded that in. Let's just lose the keyboard a sec, and I'm just going to manually loop that up there. So let's just give that a play and see what that sounds like. So that sounds really good, but to me it's kind of lacking a bit of bottom end. And I noticed a bit further down the track, it sounds like there's another element, a higher element, maybe an element in a higher octave that's being introduced. So I thought maybe we could sort of double up this bass sound with another device in Ableton. So for this I've used the analog device. Just bring that up now. And for this I just went for something very, very simple. I went for a saw wave, and I added some sub to that as well. And I'll just play that to you now. But I employed exactly the same technique with basically using the LFO to control the cutoff frequency of the filter. So if I put that on now. So what we can do is just take this clip that we just recorded and just copy it over. And if I play those two together now, I'm just going to mute the drums. You can hear that the two work quite nicely together. Finally, the last sort of feature of this sound is it's got some kind of phasing on it. I'm not sure kind of exactly what they used, but I tried out the phaser in Ableton and also a little bit of reverb as well. And it just really kind of modulates the sound nicely. So that's really the sort of the fundamental part of the track. We should have a look at the lead part that comes in, because that provides a really nice break that comes after that first verse. I'll just play that to you now. So quite kind of atonal, really. Doesn't seem to be fitting in with the actual key of the track. So just going to show you what I did to recreate that. I used the analog device again. And use a square wave for this one. And what we can do using the APC is we can actually assign one of these controllers to the frequency cutoff. So it's very easy. We just click on this MIDI button here, click on the frequency, kind of wiggle that around. And you can see, I'm not sure if you can see it there, but it's actually moving. So we use a combination. To achieve this, I used a combination of this portamento, which is assigned just here on the this section. I've got it at 62%, and also some pitch bend as well. And I'm just going to show you what that looks like. I recorded that in. So. So if we click on the envelope button here, so you can see these red sections here. This is the actual pitch bend. So I'm playing over kind of 2 octaves here. It's one of these things you have to kind of put it in and then actually program the pitch bend afterwards. So these are the elements, and what I think we should do now is try to build up these scenes, some scenes, basically using the arrangement, the original arrangement, and then we can actually, I can demonstrate recording that into the arrange section, the arrange page of Ableton. So if we start off with, I'm going to kind of do it at this top section here. I've already kind of put it just already down here. So, but I want to make a sort of fresh version. So I'm going to use the ones that I've programmed in already. And if we just look at the intro section first, I'm just going to play that now. So that's just the beat. So I'm just going to drag that up there. This is going to be our intro. Then let's listen to the first verse. I could bet all of the riches that I ever had. So this is the beat, and then we've also got the bass elements that are coming in. So I'm just going to drag those up there. And then we've got this lead section here. So you can see it's kind of gradually building up. Let's listen to the next one. Hey, yeah. Musically, the backing music is pretty much exactly the same, so I'm just going to drag these ones down. And then we have this. So you can see here that the beats changed a bit. There's actually like a sort of double time hi-hat. So let's record that in. Just going to mute the original. Hit the MIDI overdub button. Just going to check out the quantize of this. Maybe I need to change the record quantize. So that's that section there. Let's quickly go back to our reference point again. And then we go back to the bass again. And then we have the lead section, where we have that double time. I'm just going to give that a different color so we can easily see what's going on. So then we have the bass, and then this lead section here. So we basically, I'm not going to carry on too much more, but we've got now some scenes. And this is where it kind of gets interesting, because we can start launching these using the APC 40. And you can see, I'm not sure if you can actually see my APC 40 here, but you can actually sort of scroll to actually show the kind of which area of the clips you want to look at. And over on the right-hand side, this is where we launch the scenes here. And we can do this directly from the APC 40, which is really cool. So I'm just going to now kind of move away from the screen, and I can now kind of play around with the arrangement. This is our intro. So we've got a nice bunch of sections there, scenes. So next thing to do would be to actually kind of record this into the arrange page. So I'm going to do that now. So let's just, all we have to do is hit record, and then let's put that in. Hopefully you should see it all being written into the arrange page there. The double time hats come in here. Cool. So we've now written in these clips into the arrange page, and we can now kind of work in this page and start kind of adding some more production ideas. We could obviously move things around. So, for example, we have this section here. So I could just literally just press Alt and just drag that here, so that can come after that section. But let's maybe try something with the drums. Maybe we could add some kind of effects to the drums. So I'm going to do that now. Let's maybe add some kind of reverb send and then play that in. That could be quite cool. So I've just opened up this drum rack here that's playing the sounds, and what I'm going to do is go over here and find a reverb. I've actually got a reverb on already, but I want to get a kind of much bigger sounding reverb. So I'm just going over to my audio effect devices here, and I'm just going to drag a reverb into this. Now this is using the sends and returns kind of within the drum rack, and we have to turn that on over here. Just this little section here, I don't know if you can see that, the sends and returns. But this will give us whatever effects we want to use. So just clicking on this reverb that I just dragged over, you can see it here. First thing to do is I want to set the wet level to 100%. I don't want any of the original signal. And you can see the sends are up here. I'm also going to make this much bigger. I'm going to take the decay time up here. You can hear that's kind of sounding really nice. So let's just try, maybe what we could do is assign a macro to those, and then we can assign that to a controller. So let's try that now. In actual fact, now I think probably a better thing would be just assign one of these knobs. So I'm going to do that now. Just click on the MIDI button here. Just wiggle that around as well. And we had a tom as well, but maybe we don't need that. Let's just turn that off. So you can see now that as I'm wiggling around that knob, that send B is going up and down. And you can also see on the arrange page that there's this sort of line that's moving up and down, and this is where we can write in our automation. So let me just give you an example of what we can do with that. Quite extreme, but we can turn that down maybe. It's turning into a bit of a dub track, but let's just take that down. That's quite extreme, isn't it? So let's just try recording that in. Let me just make that a bit bigger. So when we're recording in automation, we don't want to have anything armed. We're still going to be hitting the record button, but we're just going to, we don't want to kind of overwrite any MIDI data by mistake. So let's just do that now. I'm just hitting record. So that's pretty cool. Let's just see if we can find that. There we go. So this is the automation that we've just written in there. And we can kind of tweak that if we want to. We could even kind of add a bit more if we wanted to up here. We could just write that in. We could do this with the pencil tool as well. And we should do that maybe, I don't know if you remember, I assigned some filter cutoff as well to this analog lead, so let's try a bit of that. So again, let's record that in. And we should be able to find that. There we go, there's our cut off there. So that's pretty much how I've recreated the track and kind of taken up these, written in these clips. All of this was in session view, and then just using the APC 40, kind of launched that clips, and basically we could just kind of build up our own arrangement. We can, this is, you know, how Ableton is so good at arranging, because, you know, you can prepare all these clips and then kind of step away and actually sort of start performing, and you can assign lots of knobs and, you know, really kind of get busy in that way. So yeah, there we have it. And I don't know if you have any questions about that, please fire away. But that's Wildfire by Subtract, and I'm Ski Oakenfull, and I'll be here tomorrow doing another track. Thank you very much.
At Point Blank Online, you've got two methods of interaction with your tutor. Firstly, you've got the weekly online masterclass, which is in real time. And then also we've got feedback on your assignments, and that's known as DVR. So the online masterclass is a 1-hour session you get with your tutor every week. You can ask questions about the lesson content and get instant feedback, and also demonstrations on the fly from their computer desktop with our streaming technology. DVR stands for Direct Video Response, and the concept is really simple. You upload your Ableton, Logic or Cubase project file to your tutor, he downloads it and then pushes record on the screen capturing software and evaluates your work, so basically giving you one-to-one feedback. You see all of the mouse movements and any parameter changes made by your tutor. It's kind of like sitting in the studio over their shoulder watching what they're doing whilst they work. We've found the DVR process has truly revolutionized the way that we teach online, and the results speak for themselves. Book your place on a course now by visiting pointblankonline.net.